Here to react to all of this, former Deputy Assistant to the President, Sebastian Gorka. Also, former Senior Intelligence Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, former NYPD counterterrorism lieutenant, who actually surveilled individuals who attended the mosque in Paterson, New Jersey, where this gentleman attended. This was in the early 2000s. Bill McGorty is with us. Let me start. So you were at the New York City as a lieutenant. You're the New York City Counterterrorism Task Force, right?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Okay.
Yes.
How many years were you with that department?
Approximately 14 years.
Okay. And as part of that, the commissioner at the time was Ray Kelly, if I recall.
Yes.
And Ray Kelly said, okay, we've got to follow leads wherever they take us about radicalism so we don't have another 9/11, right? Mm-hmm. That took you to, evidence took you to this mosque where this guy had attended at this point, right?
What happened after 9/11, Sean, we didn't know what we had in front of us in New York City. So we started to get sources and to run investigations. And what we realized was these people that were in New York City that we knew were bad people.
You weren't profiling people because they're Muslim.
Absolutely not. The intelligence game is simple. You develop human intel, they report back to you, and you're able to figure out who the bad guys are.
Oh, yeah, and so you surveilled a specific mosque.
Yes.
Was there radicalism going on
Absolutely, there? Absolutely. People from New York led us to this place into New Jersey, and what we realized that was going on, not only in this mosque in Paterson, but in Jersey City, all up and down the East Coast. There's certain things that are being said, meetings that are taking place, things I can't go into, obviously, because there's still investigations.
But you would define it as radical Islamic thought.
Absolutely.
Was it also plotting and planning radical Islamic terror?
Absolutely. Not only thought, but hatred. Hatred to America, hatred to our way of life, the way we think, what we do. Absolute hatred.
How many people do you think in the course of this surveillance program that the NYPD had, which I thought was a smart idea, it's like stop and frisk, a smart idea, we're saving lives. How many people would you say individually you knew were radicalized by your surveillance of this particular mosque?
From this particular mosque, I would say it would have to be at least over 20 people.
Wow, in one mosque?
In one mosque.
And how many in other places?
Now, that's not to say they're going to go out and to do something.
But they're talking about it.
But they're talking about it, and their thoughts are not as the same as our thought process. They don't love this country. They don't like the way we are. They think it should be changed.
If it's 20 in that mosque, how many can you think, estimate off the top of your head, in all of your surveillance?
In all, it would have to be over 1,000. Over 1,000.
Over 1,000?
Yes.
In the New York metropolitan area?
Well, you have to understand, and if I could just backtrack, not only I worked the whole East Coast. Because of Ray Kelly. We were put into place to go outside of New York City.
Wherever there might be chatter of terror.
Yes,
and you would investigate, and you found it.
And we found it, yes.
And then all of a sudden de Blasio becomes mayor, ends that surveillance program.
Ends some of the surveillance programs, and handcuffs.
Stopped and handcuffed, but you can't do your job.
Exactly. And when you put, you put police officers in a position, whether you give them a lot of resources or a little resources, they're going to do their job. But they've been basically handcuffed in a place where it's very difficult for them to get their job done.
Dr. Gorka, let me bring you in. So de Blasio ends the surveillance program. They had found over 1,000 people they believe are radicalized. They're now free to do whatever they want. Nobody's checking into them. Schumer authored the diversity visa program. People can come in, no vetting, bring 23 more people with them. We know nothing about them. This is spectacularly stupid and dangerous to the American people.
Yes, it's a matter of life and death, Sean. And it's not just about de Blasio. It's not just about Cuomo. It's about the Obama administration. I want to remind your viewers, in case they haven't heard it before, in 2011, under pressure from CAIR, the so-called Muslim civil rights organization that does not represent Muslims in America, the White House bowed to their pressure and told the FBI, this is in an unclassified memo from the White House, they wrote to the then Attorney General Eric Holder and to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the most senior military officer in the Pentagon, and said, from this day forward, there are certain words and phrases that you are not allowed to use when you are training our agents and our military in counterterrorism. And that included jihad. That included discussion of Islam. So you're going into battle trying to understand the enemy, and you're not being allowed to use the words that they use to describe themselves. This is the insanity of the last 8 years, Sean.
Lieutenant Colonel Shaffer, let me get your reaction to all this.
Sean, look, everything that's been said here tonight, the leadership in New York are aware of. The mayor, the governor, and surely Chuck Schumer. All the intel the lieutenant is talking about was available to them. They've been briefed on it. What makes it far worse is that these people are not only negligent, they are purposely setting up, as I said this morning, a purposeful push to make us like Europe, to make us as vulnerable. The lieutenant talked about these unassimilated enclaves, which are like open pits of gasoline waiting for a flame. You saw the terrorists finally take that and light that flame. That's what we have to deal with. And I was mortified last night, Sean, to hear Governor Cuomo lie to the people of New York and to America. He knew at that point in time that this guy was not a quote-unquote lone wolf. The lone wolf methodology is completely false.
This was a known wolf.
This was a known wolf.
The FBI had interviewed him in 2015.
This is a vector. Absolutely. This is a vector. This is a known vector. And as disclosed today, look, I heard last night that the NYPD had notes that were released later. You know, Sean, they knew last night that this guy was part of a larger network. They are lying to the American people. They are lying constantly.
These policies...
And it cannot be continued.
Have put Americans at risk.
Sure.
If we would use common sense, people would be alive today.
Yes.
That is, you agree with that?
Up and down the line.
With that. You agree with that, Dr. Gorka? Because I agree with that.
How many cases have we seen where an individual ends up killing people after months of planning, and the intelligence community, the FBI, was warned about them, investigated them,
and social media.
And somebody shut it down.
Hang on there. We got to take a break.
Shut it down.
All right, I have a huge announcement tonight coming up.